Hello students. In this video, we are going to discuss about the various questions which are asked on the topic gender, religion and caste. This chapter or topic is divided into three parts. The first topic is gender and politics. Second is religion, communalism and politics. And third is caste and politics. In the gender and politics, we understand what is the difference between sex and gender. As we know, sex is a purely biological term, whereas gender is more or less, if you see, it is a social term, as it involves the social or behavioral characters associated with a particular sex. For example, how a boy will behave, how a girl will behave, what kind of likings they might have, and all these things they can cause the gender discrimination, which is a very big topic in the society today. In the answer, you can discuss all these points. First of all, we can say that India is a traditionally patriarchal society. Patriarchal means where a male dominates the particular family, or all the decisions are taken by the male. And that is why we can see that the status of women is generally considered as low, or they are considered as less than men. Then third point we can put here is about the literacy. If you see the literacy for women, it is only 54% if you compare it with the men, which is 76%. Then if you look at the highly paid jobs, the percentage of women you will find very less. Then government has come up with the act which is called as the Equal Wages Act, which states that whether it may be women or men, they should be given the same payment. But here in actuality what happens? The women in the rural areas, they are paid less. Now next, many times we have seen that the parents, they prefer sons to the daughters. So that is why we can say that the female infanticide in India, it is a very big issue. Next, if you look at the household work, most of the time we can see that the women are engaged and men are helping, we can say, but they are not completely doing all the work. And the last and most important point is that the political representation of the women in India, it is very low. Next question is, what was the feminist movement? Explain their demands. So you need to know the definition of feminism or feminist for this answer. A feminist is a woman or a man who believes in equal rights and opportunities for women and men. So here not necessary that all feminists are female. There can be male even. Next, if you speak about their demands, you will find the demands are regarding educational and job opportunities. And they also want the improvement in their legal and political status. Then we can say that even in the family and personal life, a kind of equality should prevail, which is generally not there. So these are their demands. Now next question, which is very important and very often asked, is what is the status of women's representation in India's legislative bodies? India's women representation, if you see in the legislatures and their participation in politics, is very low. If you compare even in the states like Africa and Latin America, the percentage of women politicians is much more than that of India. We have hardly around 10% of the ladies or female which are participating in the national level politics. Fortunately, because of the women reservation bill at the Panchayati Raj, 33% seats are reserved. And this particular current government, this government has come up with a women's reservation bill which guarantees 33% reservation for women in the parliament. And this bill was pending for last so many years, but fortunately this is passed. So you can go through the answer, and this is the answer for this question. Next part of the lesson speaks about the religion, communalism and politics. In this part we speak what is the role of religion in the politics. Next we speak about the communalism and how it can get the ugly form. Next we discuss the solution of communalism as secularism and why India is a secular state. The question is, what are the Gandhiji's views on religion and politics? So if you see, Gandhiji had a realistic view about the religion and politics. He believed that the religion cannot be separated from the politics. Now, here he did not mean the religion as only Hinduism or other religions like Islam, but he said that every religion has some kind of moral values, and his moral values can impact the politics in the positive way. So that is why he believed that politics must be guided by ethics drawn from the religion. How does communalism takes various forms in the politics? So this is a 5-mark question. Communalism can take various forms in the politics in the following ways. The most common expression we can see is in everyday beliefs. It involves religious prejudices and beliefs in the superiority of one's religion over others. When it tries to have the political dominance of one's religious community, especially by the majority community, it leads to the desire in the minority community to form a separate political unit. Then we can say that political mobilization on religious lines is another form of communalism. It involves the use of sacred symbols, religious leaders, emotional appeals, and plain fear to bring the followers of one's religion together in the political arena. In the electoral politics, it leads to emotional appeals to the voters of one religion in preference to others. And sometimes what can happen? It can take the ugliest form. Communal violence can take place, riots, massacres can take place. So we have seen this case when the India and Pakistan partition, and we can see approximately 10 lakh people lost their life. Next question. Is the ideological basis of communalism flawed? Substantiate your views. Flawed means incorrect. Communal politics is based on the idea that religion is the principal basis of the social community. Now, why this idea is a flaw? Let's see. People of one's religion do not have the same interests and aspirations in every context. Everyone has several other roles, positions, and identities. There are many voices inside every community. All these voices have a right to be heard. So, therefore, any attempt to bring all the followers of one religion together in context other than the religion is bound to suppress many voices within that community. This shows that this ideology is not a correct ideology. 3-mark question. How does the Constitution of India ensure secularism? As we can see that there is no official religion in the Indian state. Our Constitution does not give a special status to any religion. Then the Constitution provided to all individuals and communities the freedom to profess, practice and propagate any religion or not to follow any religion. Next, the Constitution prohibits discrimination on the basis of religion. Next, the Constitution also allows the state to intervene in the matters of religion to ensure equality within religious communities. Example, we can see that untouchability is banned by the law. Next question is that how are religious differences expressed in the politics? The answer is as follows. Sometimes religion is expressed in the politics in exclusive and partisan terms, where one religion and its followers are pitted against another. This can happen when the beliefs of one religion are presented as superior to those of the other religions, when the demands of one religious groups are formed in opposition to another, and when state power is used to establish the domination of one's religious group over the rest. And this manner of using religion in the politics is called as communal politics. Here are some additional questions you can try. It is inevitable to ignore the relationship between politics and religion. In what way does this relationship impact modern day politics? Explain. Next question. Secularism is not an ideology of some political parties or persons, but is one of the foundations of our country. Examine this statement. Next question. Suggest some measures to check communalism in India. This can be the hot question. The last part of the topic discusses the caste and politics. Here we discuss about the caste system, caste hierarchy, which is prevalent in India. Then there are certain groups which are called as outcast, means the people who are kept outside the society for long years. So what are their problems? Then we see that nowadays the caste barriers are breaking down. There are two reasons. First of all, there were some social reformers, and next we can see the occupational mobility, means people move from one place to another for jobs and everything. And next is urbanization. Then very important topic we discuss here, caste in politics and politics in caste. We will discuss now two higher order thinking skill questions about this topic. First is, do you agree with the view that casteism has not disappeared from Indian society? Discuss. Although the old barriers of caste systems are breaking down, but still casteism continues to be there in the Indian society. The examples are like that. Even now, most people marry within their own caste or tribe. Untouchability has not ended completely. Effects of centuries of advantages and disadvantages continue to be felt even today. Next question. Do the caste and vote bank factors completely control the elections in India? The answer is as follows. There is an impression that elections in India are all about the caste and nothing else. But it is also true that the caste and vote bank factors alone cannot determine elections in India due to the following reasons. First is that no single caste is ever elected with a clear majority in any parliamentary constituency. So votes of more than one caste are required to win the election for any candidate or party. Then many political parties may put up candidates from the same caste. Some voters have more than one candidate from their caste, while many voters have no candidate from their caste. And last reason is that no party wins the votes of all the voters of a caste or community. Now the last but not least, two very important questions where many students get confused. First is caste in politics. So the questions can be like this. What forms can caste take in the politics? How does casteism affect politics? Explain any four forms of casteism in Indian politics. All these questions may have only one answer. It is as follows. The caste can take the following forms in the politics. Sometimes candidates are chosen on the basis of their caste. When political parties choose candidates, they keep in mind the caste composition of their voters. Then, in many places, voters vote on the basis of caste and fail to choose suitable candidates. It can happen. Next, when a government is formed after elections, political parties take care that different castes are represented in the government. Means when the ministerial positions are chosen, the caste is taken into consideration. Next, political parties appeal to caste sentiments during the elections. Then, to gain the support, political parties raise caste-based issues during the elections. This they do to get political support, as one man, one vote system or adult franchise has made voters very powerful. And the last point is that the castes considered inferior or low until now have been made conscious of their rights by the political parties. So this we can say that caste in politics. Now next thing we will discuss, what is the effect of politics on the caste. Describe the influence of politics on the caste system. It is not only the caste influences politics, but politics also affects the caste system. This takes in the following forms. Each caste group tries to become bigger by incorporating within its neighboring caste or subcaste which were earlier excluded from it. Various caste groups are required to enter into a coalition with other castes and thus enter into a dialogue. New kinds of caste groups have come up in the political arena, like backward and forward caste groups. So we in India we know that there are BC, OBC, ST. So this is not a single caste, but these are the groups which have come together and they are influencing the politics.